Just making this video because to keep up with the fact that I'm gonna make one every day until the end of friggin' September. Like, I don't even know. Like, it's a goal for me, and it's a goal that I've set for myself, and I'm very determined with my goals. And even though everybody I know would say otherwise, they don't know me. Like, they don't know that life circumstances or events have caused things to unravel every fucking time. And so this is something that, you know, it doesn't matter. Nobody can affect it except for YouTube, like YouTube can take my videos down or make it to where I can't put them up or something like that. Or, God could kill me, I could die and then I wouldn't be able to or something like that. But other than that, I'm gonna stick to it. It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how shitty I feel. It just doesn't matter because it's a goal, and I am capable of reaching goals, even though nobody believes that I am. Or every time it's been a small goal or something, everybody's always dismissed it. It's almost like having milestones throughout your whole life, and nobody cares ever. Because everybody's so wrapped up in themselves. If you've watched my previous videos way before, you'll see where I talked about being the scapegoated child and all the heartache and pain and abuse and crap that I've endured and everything, and how I'm just trying to function as a normal person. But it's really hard, and then it's really hard whenever you try, and basically the devil comes knocking at your door. It's like you try so fucking hard, you're like, no, I'm not gonna give up, no, damn it, and this, to people that just don't get it, it seems like it's a small battle to be won, but they don't understand that apparently it's my life purpose, to a degree, to struggle with these types of things. I don't even know what the goal end result is, sometimes I sit here and I'm like, am I supposed to help? Am I supposed to help my family? For them to wake up, basically. And, take responsibility for them damn selves for once, and stuff like that. And then now, because of all the crap I'm going through, it's like, for instance, my grandmother, one of her narcissistic habits that she's always had is she's gonna fucking talk when she wants to. And she's not gonna shut the fuck up about it. And it's not even something that can be excusable in the sense of, oh, well, maybe she has ADD, or maybe she has ADHD, or maybe she's just very narcissistic, or whatever. I mean, this is it's almost like it's part of her fucking DNA for her to just talk when she wants to damn talk. And that's another thing, too, is, she has a niece that's been wanting her to live with her for I don't know how fucking long now, about 10 damn years, I reckon. And she won't go and stay with her longer than a month, maybe 2 or something like that, or whatever, when she goes to visit her. And the reason why is because it takes 30 days. If you read up on anything science-wise, brain chemistry, psychologically speaking, blah, 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 it takes 30 days to create a habit. It takes 30 days to get used to something. And, she won't stay that long because I know why, because she wants to keep up the facade of the character that she is portraying herself as to her niece. She portrays herself, as, I don't know, in all honesty, but obviously somebody that her niece, which is my cousin, long-time cousin, but second, I don't know. But anyways, but down the family, I guess. But anyways, well, you can figure it out. I'm just rambling right now. But anyways, she don't know her. She don't know her. She thinks she does, but she doesn't. And I do. And that's like my aunt that just lived here before me and everything. My aunt's lived with her before. But my aunt has never lived with her as much as I have, and it's like that, whoever lives with you the longest knows you the best. They've seen you at you, best, and they've seen you at your worst, and everything like that. And, fuck. I miss my kid. My kid is the only person that's honestly probably lived with me so long other than my parents. And then my parents hate me. And then my kid liked me until she hated me too. But, so anyways, I'm going through a lot. I'm trying not to. I'm always going through a lot. It takes a lot for me to get up and do the things that I do. It takes a lot for me to. And then even like, for instance, when I moved out and then I busted my ankle, I was like, God, like, what was it? My cousin Misty, she died. And it wasn't long after. I think she died maybe the year before I moved out of here. And that's kind of what pushed me, like made me be like, because Misty, she'd offered for me to live with her at one point in time, with her and her husband to help me get my life together. And I regret so bad not taking that opportunity, but I was afraid because Misty was a drug addict, and I didn't want my kid around that, so. But she was the only person that offered to help me. And then because I told her no, then she got mad at me and pretty much called me, lazy for not working on my life. So she died. And then, my kid's dog had puppies, which we kept one of them, which is Clarabelle. And, I was working, and my grandmother, because whatever they have in their minds about me, whatever was determined at whatever age, I have no idea. But whatever my grandmother, my sister, my mom, my dad, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my this, my that, everybody in the family done, it's like, it's almost like by age 2, they're like, yep, that's who Heather is, and she's never going to change. And so they've never even allowed me room to grow as a person or whatever. And, so, I was working, I just started a job, and to even start a job, I had to, like, run away, basically. I went and stayed at a homeless shelter for 2 weeks with my daughter. We went on foot, and we walked for I don't know how many hours. I carried her, for probably at least an hour, 30 minutes once, and then 30 minutes again, and this woman picked us up and was like, hey, where are y'all going? And I was like, just up here to use the damn phone, and she's like, well, what are you using the phone for? Why do you need to get here? Because, like, why do you need to get here to use the phone? And I was like, because I can't live with my family anymore. They're driving me insane. They don't want to help me get a job. They don't want to help me get my license. They don't want me to do anything except for sit at home, so that way they can bitch about me forever. So that way that way they have a topic to talk about other than themselves. That way when they see people out at the store or something and people go, hey, how you been? They can lie and say, oh, I'm okay, or oh, I'm great, or I'm wonderful, or they'll say, I'm good, but I'm sick. But I'm the backup story. I've always been the backup story, whenever things get too much, too complicated, the person is genuinely trying to ask my mom or my dad or my sister or my grandparents, or whatever, how they're doing, once they're like, oh, you're sick, what do you think? It's a stomach bug, No, I think it's just stress because Heather, because Heather, because Heather does this, Heather does that, Heather won't, Heather, and everything. And so then, not only is my reputation shitty in my family, it's shitty in the town that I live in. And I'm just seen basically as this piece of shit. So I don't know, what God has in store for me. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I have no idea. I'm, completely and totally fucking lost. And I always have been. And I've always just had to be okay with it, because every time I try to find guidance, I guess you could say, there's always been so much resistance. And this is the first time that there hasn't been as much resistance, and or not resistance, but what's the word I'm looking for? Just bullshit, just things that completely pull the rug out from underneath you. And most of the time it was usually my dad's threats upon my life, basically, if I do something, that he disapproves of, then he's going to take my life from me. He's going to kill me. And then that's why they took Ava from me too, my daughter, is because they know she's my world. And that's all that they've ever done to me. It's always like a goddamn game of cat and mouse or something. But, any fucking ways. God, I think I'm getting sick. I feel so hot. I'm so stressed out. But anyways, so back to me and my daughter, and we went and stayed at a homeless shelter for 2 weeks. We came back. When we came back, the reason I opted to come back was because my youngest niece was being born and I didn't want to miss it. Because I do love my family. They're my family after all. So, I came back, but I told my parents flat out that they had to help me get a job, that they had to actually take me, to get a job, to put in applications, and that they had to actually, take me to work. And they couldn't bullshit about it. And whenever, I was like, are you going to be a reliable ride? They needed to be like, yes, I'm going to be a reliable ride. And then I told them, and I was like, or you need to help me get my license. Well, they opted to be my ride over giving me my license or helping me to get my license. My mom even got mad a few damn nights because after I'd get off work, she would be like, hey, we're going to go over to my house. And I'm like, this is like when I was moved out on my own, and I'm like, no, I need to go home. I got shit to do at my own house. And she's like, oh, come on, hang out, eat supper, and I'm like, no, and she's like, yeah, and then I'd ask my kid, well, my kid, of course, my kid don't want to be responsible, like she's a kid, so it's like, oh, can we put off responsibilities at home to have fun, and go over to Nana's and eat? And so we'd end up going over there, and then 4 fucking hours later, I'm sitting in my goddamn work clothes, I ate supper, I had to wait 2 hours for her to even cook it, and I get done eating supper, and I'm like, okay, can we go home? And she's like, in a little while. I'll take you in a little bit. And I would get so fucking mad, I would go out, and I would get in the fucking car, and I'd back the car out of the driveway, and I would sit there and honk the horn and be like, let's go, I gotta go home. I have my own place. I have my own shit to take care of. Take me home. And so they just got really fucking controlling. But, back before I moved out and everything, I was living here with my grandmother. My grandmother told me she was going to kill the puppies. She told me she was going to kill me in my sleep. She said this to me right in front of my kid. And then when I started working, when I was living here, she literally, I come in behind her one day. I got off work at 5:30 that day. And, I come in behind her and she was on the phone and she didn't know I'd came in the door. And, cause when she's talking, that's all that's important to her, is what she's saying, what she thinks, you know. And I think she might have even been on the phone with her niece. And I heard her say, yeah, Heather stays back in that bedroom all the time. And she just sleeps all day long. And I never see her. And she's always just back there asleep. And I might have to go back and check on her here in a little while because I ain't seen her all day today. And, you know, I mean, you never know with Heather. You never know. You never know, you know, because of what she did so many years ago or this and that or because she gets so sad. You never know with her. I mean, it's always been this drama thing. And she turned around and I'm standing there in my work uniform and I was like, hi, you know, and she's like, oh. And she's like, you fixing to go into work? And I was like, no, I left this morning. And I'm coming back. And I'm back home now. Oh, I thought you'd been laid in bed all day. Well, I was just on the phone talking to so-and-so, just telling them that you sleeping all the time 'cause you just so sleepy. You just so sleepy all the time 'cause you've always been a sleepy person. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a sleepy-ass person because I have allergies. I don't have money for medicine for the allergies that I have. And then I've had a family that's dipshits that fucking smokes around me. And I'm allergic to that shit. So you try living with allergies every fucking day. And then a 90% curvature. I'm supposed to have fucking rhinoplasty done to have that shit straightened out, supposedly, you know. But in all honesty, I would just opt for fucking allergy medicine. But anyways, I was like, no, I was at work and I heard you telling them, you know, and I was like, I heard you telling them that I was laid back in the bed. Oh, yeah, honey, I thought you was just tired and laid back in the bed. I'd forgot you'd went to work this morning. And I thought, how many fucking times out of these 6 months that I've been working have you been saying that shit about me? So, anyways, I'd saved up enough money. And whenever my grandmother told me she was going to kill the puppies and that she was going to kill me in my sleep because I was a bitch, and the fact that she'd called me a paid-for whore the time, like the year before when I was living here with her, after she knew what went down with my husband calling and her refusing to allow me to refuse his phone calls, even though he wasn't trying to make the relationship work, and he was just harassing me and getting on the phone and constantly taunting me and making fun of me and, you know, trying to, you know, like he would even sit there and act like he was coming home, you know, and he would act like that for like a day or two. He'd be like, yeah, I'm going to come home and talk about it. We'll talk about it, baby. I miss you. You know, I'm so sorry that I fucked up this and that. I love you. I'm going to come home. Okay, well, when you going to come home? I got to get a load. That way I can get there. I got to get a load, you know, that way I can show up and everything. That way I can come back home. Okay, you know, so for like 2 or 3 days we'd talk. And then all of a sudden, you know, he'd be like, oh, I ain't coming. I ain't coming back home. I freaking hate you. You know, I hate the way you done me. I hate the this and the that. You know, and don't you remember you said this to me? And he would just start, and it was just this constant abuse. And so, anyways, when I was living here, this was 5-6 years ago. This was in 2013, maybe early 2014. I put a loaded gun to my head and I tried to get it to go off and it just wouldn't go off. And I tried every way in the world and it just wouldn't go off. And so with that going on, and then probably a year from that, her saying to me that, you know, I was a paid-for whore because she was mad that I had been the only woman in our family to marry and not have to work. And yet, at that point in time, I would have opted to work versus sitting at home, but he wouldn't help me get my license either. And he didn't, you know, and I found out that he's just like my family, you know, and I hate that. You know, like you don't own people, you know. It's not like, oh, you've got to stay here forever. That's the reason, like, yeah, I'm mad at my kid that my kid's gone. I'm mad that she's with her Nana and Papa. I'm mad that she's over there, but I'm not so mad that I'm like, you know, get your ass back home, you know, right fucking now, you know, and all this and everything. I realize she's her own person. She makes her own choices and stuff like that. And like, I've never met anybody that looks at me like that, you know, and that respects that about me. But anyways, so my cousin Misty died, and me and her were like on the same emotional wavelength, I guess you could say. We both felt rejected by her family, mocked, abused, neglected, and so she'd passed away. And that's what made me, you know, be like, I've got to get a job. I've got to get the fuck out of here. And then especially whenever my grandmother threatened to take my life, and it scared my daughter. And my daughter was like, you know, like, Mommy, you know, I'm scared when you go to sleep, she gonna kill you, you know. And I was like, baby, she ain't gonna do shit. You know, I was like, don't worry about it. And I just remember looking at my daughter's face that night, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't put up with their shit. And so it wasn't long after I was like, I called my mom and my dad and had them helping me look for a place to move out. And I was like, y'all gotta help me fucking find a place to move out. I don't give a shit if it's a goddamn box right about now. I'd rather live in a fucking box with my kid, you know, or something that's stable enough to raise, you know, take care of my daughter in. And they're like, okay. Well, then, even when I filled out the application for this one place, I mean, maybe I pushed too hard, you know? Maybe I pushed too hard to move out or something or whatever. Maybe I was supposed to stay and forgive my grandmother and let her just pop off and say god awful, hateful shit to me, you know, and just let it go, you know, one year after the other and everything. But I didn't, and instead I pushed to move out. And, like, what was it? Was it a few? I don't know. Let's see. I don't even remember when I moved out. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. I think right before I moved out, I can't remember if one of my uncles died then or if it was later on. But I asked my parents to help me look for a place, so they found a place. I filled out an application. The woman that I gave the paper to, she didn't like me, so she didn't turn in my application to the landlord. So a week or two passed, and I'm like, I ain't heard not even a rejection call, you know, no, you're not getting the place. So I call, and the landlord's like, oh, they didn't even give me an application for you. But now, in all honesty, I'm like, you know, I'm like, did she just not, you know, like, did she lie on her, or who lied on who? Because I feel like everybody's just full of shit right about now in my whole entire life, and I hate to feel that way, except for, like, you know, to a degree. But I see the shadiness, I guess, of everybody. You know, I end up seeing the crap. And so anyways, I ended up moving out, and I had another uncle pass away, and then another uncle pass away, and then I fell and broke my ankle, or fucked it up, and I haven't even been working a year. And then on top of that, hell, the week that I'd fucked up my ankle, somebody actually shut the freezer door on that foot. But luckily it didn't hurt that bad, it just bruised it. And I was just like, you know, I'm in fucking hell, you know, like, God hates me, or something hates me doing what I'm doing, you know, like, I'm trying. And then I remember, when one of my uncles passed away, because my family is so fucking dramatized. Like, they're just so fucking dramatic about everything all the fucking time. One of my uncles, he drowned, and, he'd bought a boat, and he'd bought a boat with his friend, and when I first found out that he died, my mom called in the middle of the night at like, I don't even know, like, about 3 a.m., I think, and she told me, that he'd passed away, and and I remember tears running down my face, and I remember thinking, holy shit, and this was the third uncle now, and I'm like, and I just moved out, and then my cousin Misty had died, and my cousin Misty had tried to help me, and be like, move in with me, and I didn't take her up on the opportunity because she was a drug addict. Well, this uncle, he's the only reason that I got my learners when I was 18, and my learner's license, and he's the only reason I had it, and if it wouldn't have been for him, I wouldn't even had it. Because he was the only one that understood and gave a shit enough. And he actually tried to argue with my mom at her job and be like, she needs her license. Like, stop being selfish. Like, she's a young mother. Help her. Help her. And my mom was just like, like stone cold fucking face, bitch ass face, and like my mom actually got mad because we had to go up to her job twice to get I think I had to get her social security card the second time, which made no goddamn sense to me. And then before that, I had to go up there and get a bill from her for proof of address. Or maybe it was my birth certificate. I can't remember. But anyways, I just remember, all that shit and everything. And I remember my uncle watching him, and he fought for me, basically. He fought for me against my mother, his own sister, to try to get her to wake up, and see that she needs to stop being so overly fucking concerned about herself. And she needs to pay attention to me, this kid that she'd given birth to 18 years ago that she's not paid attention to since she gave birth to, basically. And, or except for the blame for things. And, so he ended up drowning. And I remember, my mom, I answered the phone and I'm like, hello, and I could tell something was wrong. And I could always, and there's those people out in the world and I'm one of them, and that's the reason, but I can't read what the signs are anymore because I didn't want to. But, it's like intuition, and I don't want to read them because it hurts too much. And so whenever I feel anything intuitive, or whatever, I'm usually trying to ask people to hurry up and tell me what the fuck's going on because I need to, calm the inner intuition that's screaming and in a panic inside of me. And I'm tortured usually because people just don't want to tell you, or they're going through their own shit, and so it takes them forever to muster up the words as to what's happened or what's going on. And so I answered the phone and I'm like, hello, and I'd felt sick. That's the reason I even woke up from the phone ringing, is I'd felt sick for 2 or 3 hours. And something was telling me that something was wrong that night, and something was telling me that something was wrong, all the other nights, and something always tells me that something's wrong, and everything, but I never am able to tell if it's just, somebody might have got injured, or if somebody's dead, or if, somebody's just really bad sick, or really bad upset, or whatever, and stuff like that. And, so anyways, I answer the phone and, she's crying and I'm like, what is it? And she's like, your uncle died, and I'm like, okay, and I was like, okay, and she's like, yeah, and she's like, he drowned, and I'm like, okay, and so, I actually feel so sorry. I feel so sorry for, I felt so bad. I had to call out of work. I had to be at work at 6 a.m., I think, or, sometime later on, and I called, and I called out of work, and I just walked out of work a few months before when my other uncle died, when he was sick and he was in the hospital, and I wanted to go see him, and then I wasn't there when he died, because he didn't die until 2 weeks later, but I just fucking walked out when they told me that he was sick, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go, he's in the hospital. And, so here's this uncle, passed away, and, I called work and I was like, hey, and I was like, I got to call out of work. And they're like, why, and, this girl, like, she you can tell she's in a pissed off mood. She's like, why? And I'm like, because my uncle died, and she's like, you really gonna call out of work, I think, or something, because your uncle died. And I'm like, yeah, and like I just started crying, and everything, and like I don't even know if I said it to her, but I felt so bad crying over the phone with her. And she's just, she's like my supervisor or my boss or whatever, manager. And and she's like, it's okay, and just calm down. And like I cried on her, like, I don't have family, I don't have nobody that's ever there for me. And my kid was laying in bed asleep, and I had to wake her up and tell her, and she stayed out of school. And like she, and like anyways, and this was all in the first few months of me moving out. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy shit, what's going on, and everything. And then like a day or two passes and I'm like, okay, he drowned, but how did it happen? Well, I get the stories, and there's a story that he was like on a party boat mainly, and like that he decided to jump in the water and go swimming, and he drowned that way. And then I found out that that was a bullshit story, and it was just that him and his friend had bought a boat, and they were out on their boat, and they decided to go swimming. So, their boat's like anchored, and they go swimming, and the next thing they know, the boat, the tie, the anchor or whatever, it breaks free and the boat starts drifting. And they tried to go swimming after it because the current was taking it. And they ended like, and his friend was like, I'm a better swimmer than you, you stay here. And he's like, no, and my uncle just didn't listen and everything. And so he tried to swim after the boat too. Basically, he panicked, and he panicked about the boat and everything. And he panicked and worried about getting it, and everything, which, like, that's the thing is when you, and he was the scapegoated one too, I believe, in his family. And when you're that scapegoated one, then it is a mindset for you to panic to fix everybody else's problem. You have to panic for everybody else. Nobody else can panic for themselves. No, you have to panic for them, and you have to fix it for them. And you have to override your own logical sense and reasoning so that way you can fix to make them happy. Because that's life and death. If they're not happy, then you're dead, basically, And so that, I feel like he was the same in that sense and everything. And then I feel like because he was more eccentric than I am and everything, like a lot of the family kind of thinks that I'm exactly like him. And instead of them seeing me for me, they see me for just another him and everything, and stuff like that. And it's just this bunch of bullshit. And like I watched him get mocked and picked on and made fun of and just everything else for so many years, And so I always had passion for him. And because like nobody else did. Like his sisters didn't. His mom did, but and I don't know about my papa that's his dad, like I don't know. And then his son didn't have compassion for him either. That's all he wanted from his son was some compassion. And he didn't have it because he couldn't tolerate it, because it's almost like me with my kid right now and my aunt with her daughter. And that's the thing, is like they're trying to do that. They're trying to keep us hung up in this damn rut. And me and my kid have got to be the one to break the fucking mold, but nobody's helping me. And so basically it's like I need somebody to come along that can kind of like save me from this, if you will. But then I don't know if that's God's will. I don't know if that's going to happen, and everything. And but anyways, so back to him drowned. And He went swimming after it with his friend, and his friend heard him hollering for help, and he turned back to him, and it's too late, supposedly. And then he was hollering for help, and these people got on this, because they wasn't like too far out, I don't think, in the water, but they were out, fairly decent. And so these people got on this like little boat or whatever and rolled out to them, and they took my uncle's body and put it up on the boat, but they refused to help by giving him, CPR or anything, and or trying to help him. These people did, and the guy tried to get up on the boat that was out there with him, his friend and everything. And he tried to get up on the boat, and they wouldn't let him. The people wouldn't let him, so he had to swim back to shore after just, getting my uncle, and he was screaming at him to please do something, and he said nobody did anything, And then my cousin, which is his son, mentioned about how, he didn't think his dad was gay. And so right there, I'm like, okay, was he gay? Or was he bisexual? Or, and like, that's the reason the family hated him even more than what they let on, and this and that, and like, I don't know. And then for my cousin to be so narrow-minded to even fucking say something like that, and like, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. Like, but I'm not at the same time. I'm sorry to the people that it offends, I guess, but then you're a shithead if it offends you. I don't give a shit if you're black. I don't give a shit if you're white. I don't give a shit if you're brown. I don't give a shit what fucking color you are. I don't give a shit what fucking race you are. I don't give a shit what the fuck you are. If you're a prince, a king, a queen, a princess, if you are a poor ass drug addict fucking shooting up shit in your goddamn arm, like fucking bum with fucking even HIV, I don't give a shit. If you are sitting there dying in front of me, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I will do everything in my power to help you. And that's even the reason a lot of people have been like, Heather, you need to be a nurse or a doctor. And I can't even, fathom that. And then at the age that I am, and then I really don't like being around stuff like that. I don't like the blood and the guts and all that. I've seen so much, and it breaks my heart, and a part of me dies inside every time. But I don't give a shit. I will fucking help you. And for other people to know that other people are like still so scared that somebody might be gay, or somebody might have some infection that might pass to them, or some shit like that, versus over a life. A life. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to sit there and play God? And to sit there and to choose and to not choose, or choose who and who not you're gonna help. Who are you to do that? Like, you are a horrible ass person to sit there and do that to somebody and be like, oh, yeah, you can die because, you're homeless, or you can die because you're gay, or you can die, but oh, my baby can't, my child can't, because it's my child can't die, but oh, this person over here that might have something wrong with them, they might have fucking cancer, or they might have fucking hepatitis, or they might have any type of, just sit there and be like, oh, you can die because, like, and the person is in a state that they else cannot be asking for help because of what is going on with them. Like, you're not supposed to do that. It's not your job to play God. It's your job to help your fellow people. Like, what happened to the Good Samaritan Act? Like, where the fuck does that shit... And then even at that, like, I've heard so many stories and about people suing people because people tried to help them. Like, and I get that you're angry, and I get that, maybe they pulled you out of the fucking car before, they thought it was gonna blow up, and the car didn't blow up, and the car didn't catch fire, and so it damaged your leg. But damn it,
can you not appreciate that they took the time out of their life, out of their day to try and help you? Like, where the fuck, like... And so anyways, so my uncle died, you know, and like, and that shit happened. And then all the stories that circulated before we got the real story of what actually happened. And then I'm not even sure, you know, if his friend, you know, and everything. And then his friend got shunned out of the family, like, for as far as I'm understanding, or maybe one or two people talked to him. But nobody really appreciates him, you know, and everything. And like, I would like to try to, but if I show appreciation towards this guy that may have been my uncle's partner, or he may have just been a really good friend, I have no idea. And I don't even give a shit. He could be either or. I don't give a shit. He's still the same person to me. He's still the same person that was out there with my uncle, that had been a friend with my uncle, that had lived with my uncle and helped each other and been there for him. And he is still a good guy, and he still deserves respect. And then to go through what he went through and how much damage that probably put on him as a person and everything. But if I try to be his friend and be overly nice to him, then my family's just going to attack me and give me more shit for it. So I can't even fucking be nice to the guy. And instead I have to, you know, seclude him out of the shit too, basically, of our family, when he may have been my uncle's partner and he may have been wanting to, you know, be with my uncle and be part of this family and everything. And then even when I was moving in to my apartment, my uncle was like, oh, I can help you move, you know, you just gotta call me and let me know. And because my family was so critical of my uncle, and because my uncle and his, you know, eccentric attitude that would lead to sometimes chaos, yes, you know, because his internal system's all fucked up, because he was the scapegoated kid, just like I'm the scapegoated kid, and your internal shit gets all fucked up, and his was fucked up like worse than mine, and so his intuition's just completely whack and thrown the fuck off. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna get him to help me move stuff, because he'll probably break it all, you know, and stuff like this, you know, or he'll probably have a bunch of, you know, questions and stuff, and like just his behavior and his mannerisms. And I was like, and I can't take it, and I feel bad saying that, because he's the only one offering to help me fucking move in, other than, you know, and my dad didn't offer to help me move in, my dad just did. You know, he just did, because that's what he has to do to keep that Brady Bunch appearance that he's trying to sell the world on, thinking that our family is, you know. And that's what a lot of people do. It's not just my family. Almost every family has a scapegoated child. Almost every family has, you know, all this shit going on and everything. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck's happening to the world. I'm so stressed out. But, so, my uncle passed away, and then about a year later, I had another uncle pass away. And so now I only have an uncle that married into the family that's not blood left, except for one great uncle who's in the nursing home. All my other uncles, they're all dead. And they all died just like, they almost like dropping like flies, you know, like they just, and it was right after I moved out, and I'm like, God, you know, what did I upset? What balance did I upset in this life, you know, because I busted my ankle, and I've been working on it all these years, you know, and I'm like, okay, apparently this was a bad decision, is what, you know, I'm getting from these messages, you know, it's a bad decision, you know, because, oh, you know, more bodily harm to you, you know, and I'm like, and my body's still been harmed and beaten and all kinds of shit enough when I was a kid. I shouldn't have to ever deal with any type of bodily harm ever again. And then instead I busted my ankle, and then my mom wouldn't even take me to the fucking doctor for it. Yet she's the one a few years earlier who had fell and broke or fractured both of her ankles. And granted, she got mad that, like, we wouldn't come over because we had our own lives, me and my sister, so we wouldn't come over and cater to her and take care of her. But how she even went about fracturing both of her ankles and fell, I have no idea. This was when I was first married to my husband, and like literally first few months of our marriage, and we actually went out on the truck. I went out on the truck with him and stayed for 2 weeks, and it was like our honeymoon to a degree. And I left my kid with them, and that's the longest I'd ever left my kid with them. And I get a phone call, about a week in, or 4 or 5 days in, and my mom has, fell and fractured both of her ankles. And when I come home, she was sitting in the wheelchair, and she was still scooting herself with her feet to get around. And she was crying to me, telling me that the doctors told her that there was nothing that they could do because the fractures were so minor. And she kept going, like, she went like 2 or 3 or 4 times to the damn hospital over the shit. And so she, more than anybody, should fucking know what it's like to have your ankle messed up. And then whenever I messed mine up, she wouldn't even take me to the damn doctor for it. And I know she got mad at me because she wanted me to cater to her. But my God, when I catered to her before, whenever she was first diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, it was insane. It was insane. It's like dealing with a stuck-up princess. Every morning she had to have a cup with ice, a Pepsi, a cup of orange juice, and depending on what mood she was in, it else had ice in it or didn't. She had to have a cup of ice water, and she had to have a little bit of like milk sometimes because it was like something dealing. And anyways, like I'm catering to her, and like it was insane. It was insane. And then she would say the same things repetitively, and it's like, yes, I know what you want to drink. Yes, I know what you need to drink. Yes, you get the same shit to drink every fucking day. Yes, you just sit there in bed and watch TV. You won't even do your leg exercises that you're supposed to do. I tried to help you with you doing them. You refused to do them, and instead you just sit there and waller and cry, and you're not even fighting for your damn self. And here I am. I'm having to fight for you. I'm having to fight, to help you, to give a shit about your life when I don't even give a shit about my own life. And then I have to keep on because I have a child. I have a 2-year-old daughter at this point in time. And then on top of that, I have a niece. And then her fucking dad, goes overseas. And, and that's all we need is one less man in our fucking life, and like, yeah, why don't we just all the women just sit around, and whine and bitch and moan, and nobody ever step up and fucking take charge and do what the fuck they need to. And then when they do, like me, then people get mad at them. Just like my fucking brother-in-law, like, he got mad at me because my niece loved me. I mean, like, dude, I'm sorry, you were gone. She needed somebody. Like, I'm not gonna deny her, I'm not gonna just, no, you don't deserve to be picked up and tossed in the air because your dad's not here. Like, my kid's never had a father be there for her. It's always been me. I was always the one, teaching her the things that a father, is kind of supposed to teach their kid. I'm the one that helped her ride her bike. I'm the one that, taught her, all this shit, taught her, what a hammer, a screwdriver, a Phillips, a flathead, bolts, nuts, screws, nails, what, measurements, And, I mean, how to use a sander and all this, stuff that, supposedly men are supposed to do, with their sons, not even with their daughters, but my daughter, there's no guarantee that somebody's gonna be there for her, and so she's gotta be like me, and she's gotta learn to do the shit herself and take care of her fucking self, and if something's broke, she gotta know how to fucking fix it. And then I've not even had a car for me to even learn how to fucking fix a damn car or do anything with it, and I can't even apply that knowledge and give to her at this moment in time, because I got my own shit I'm trying to take care of. And then whenever my mom was diagnosed with that shit, and my kid was 2, and my mom just gave up on fucking life, and my dad had to come in and kind of bitch at her, a few times occasionally, and be like, get up, do something. And then her doctor, and instead she would talk to her doctor, and she'd be like, oh, it's because my daughters won't help me, and nobody will take care of me, and this and that. You were like in your fucking 40s. Like, am I supposed to take care of you when it's just that you have arthritis? It's not that you're dead. You're not dead, you know? Like, let me give you the same fucking life lesson that y'all gave me. You know, you got food in your belly, you know, you got a roof over your head, and you got clothes on your back. Be happy. And then on top of it, you had somebody that was there for you, you know? And then for you to turn and do all the things that you've done to me and me still put up with you. And now I'm fed up with you, and now you're trying to act like I'm a bad person because I'm fed up with you because you had to put up with my shit. What the fuck did I put you through other than challenging you to grow the fuck up and act like a mother? Same for my dad. Same for my fucking sister. I've challenged you, Brandy, to be a sister. Act like a sister. But you don't want to. Instead, you'd rather act like a devoted ass girlfriend for 10 or however fucking many years to all these damn douchebag guys. Yet you can't even act like a decent ass sister to me. What if that is what our whole fucking family's goddamn problem is, you dumb ass dipshits, is that we don't act like a family, so therefore, how the hell are we gonna bring other people into the fucking family if we can't even treat our family like fucking family? I mean, I would like my sister to sit there and think of every time she's ever drove anywhere to have happiness, fun, or to even accomplish something, and just erase that from her life. Erase that from her life if she could, but her brain's too fucking ignorant, I reckon. Her brain's too fucking ignorant. And erase her boyfriends too, because I've been lonely for I don't know how fucking long. Erase all that shit from your fucking life. Same for my fucking parents. All the shit that's happened for them. Everything that's went great and good for them. Erase it from your life. Put yourself in my fucking shoes. Because every time I put myself in y'all's fucking shoes and try to, I get mad. I get jealous. I get envious. Or I used to. I learned to actually stop that shit probably around age 10. I was like, you know what? They're never gonna get it. They're just fucking... They're rocks in a box. They're dumb as shit. They don't understand. They don't understand. A family is only as strong as its weakest link. So if I am the weakest link, you sons of bitches, then you ain't no stronger than me. So shut the fuck up. Like, I asked y'all to do certain things, you know, like, and y'all just never did. And then y'all, like, it literally killed me when I asked y'all. I was like, do not let my child have this fucking tablet away from y'all. And y'all did anyways. Like, I thought y'all would at least safeguard my kid from that. Like, I'm so mad about that, like, I could squeeze the fucking life out of you. And then, oh, you know, I was doing bad or what the fuck ever by over safeguarding my fucking kid. Yet these are the same goddamn people that got mad at me when I had the conversation about holidays with my daughter. And granted, the conversation, it came like a fucking lightning bolt which crashed down upon my poor kid. And I'm sorry for that, but my kid's trying to crash down on me. And she ain't gonna fucking do it. Because she don't know what the fuck I've been through. And I'm actually nice enough, kind enough, smart enough to actually sit down with my child and have conversations about why I'm struggling. And about this is what I'm going through. And about baby doll, just have some compassion on me. I don't demand my daughter have compassion on me. I don't demand her fucking respect. She don't want to give it to me, that's her fucking choice. That is her God-given right. And I'm not going to shit talk about her just because of it. Even though I have people trying to get me to shit talk about my daughter, being like, I don't think that you should even care what your daughter thinks about you anymore. I don't care, this and that. I think that you should just, no, I do care. I do care, okay? It hurts me. It hurts me. I sit and I cry all the fucking time. I do care what the hell my daughter thinks about me. But I care about what my daughter thinks about me because I'm a good person. And because I understand that that is my child's choice. And I understand that I've raised her well enough that she knows that she can make those choices. And I've raised her knowing about God. And I've raised her knowing about everything. And y'all are the ones that are trying to tear that apart. Y'all are the ones attacking what I have put into my child. But guess what? At the end of the day, that child came out of my fucking womb. That is my daughter. And you are not going to rip the knowledge that I've given her from her. She's a smart kid. She has emotional intelligence out the asshole in comparison to 98.999% of the fucking population of the whole goddamn planet. And y'all want to rip that from her and instead make her live on the, oh, you're beautiful, and make sure that you brush your hair, and curl it and look sexy and cute, so that way you can survive life. Like, fuck that shit. Like, I'm so mad. I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out. But I gotta end this video here, because if I don't, I'm gonna end up losing it. But you tell me what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Like, that's the thing, is like, I seen this post today, and it was like, instead of belittling a person, how about you fucking teach them? I've taught my family as much as I can, okay? They're a box of rocks. I can't fucking teach them. So this is me calling out to who the fuck ever can hear me and saying, help me teach my ignorant ass family how to love me. Help me teach my ignorant ass family how to actually love each other. Help me teach them, because I can't fucking do it on my own, and they don't fucking understand it. Because they think that I'm wrong. They think that everything about me is wrong and everything about me is bad, yet when they need help putting a goddamn AC unit in the fucking window, they want to call on me. When they need somebody to sit there and be there for them when somebody's died and they're at the funeral and they're bawling their eyes out, they call on me. When they need somebody to get a fucking trampoline that's stuck out of the goddamn trees, pulled the fuck back down, tied back down, cinder blocks weighing it down and all kinds of shit, they call me. When something's broken, they need it fixed, they call me. And yet they call me a piece of shit too. God, I'm so mad. But I gotta end it here, because if I don't, I'm gonna end up losing this video. But anyway, so I moved out, broke ankle, 4 uncles dead, cousin died the year before, and I'm like, okay, I did something wrong, but I don't know what the fuck I done wrong, because nobody's talking to me. And if they do talk to me, instead they're like, hey, kiss my ass, lick my asshole, suck my toes, suck my dick, suck my feet, suck my ears, bathe me in your fucking saliva, worship me, worship the ground that I walk on, worship every little thing that I've ever done for you. And I'm like, fuck no, because you're a human being. The same as me, and nobody's doing that shit for me. I can't even get somebody to treat me with any decent respect for 5 fucking seconds. You think I'm gonna kiss somebody's ass? You got another damn thing coming. God. But I gotta end it here, because if I don't, I'm seriously gonna lose it. I mean, I'm losing it for as far as my temper, but I'm seriously gonna lose the video. So I hope everybody's doing good. Keep putting your best foot forward. You got any comments, drop them down below. If you know my family and you watch this fucking video, help them, okay? They're fucking retarded. That's all I can say at the end of the day. Even the fucking AC that's put in here is as crooked as a dog's hind leg. I mean, it just looks pitiful. And I'm like, here we go again. Now I'm going to have to hear my grandmother again talk about how it's crooked and how it leaks and how it this and that and her floor and fuck. But then if I say something to her, she's going to be like, well, it's because you didn't come out and help your dad put it in the fucking window. I was out there when we put the other one in the fucking window. He didn't listen to me. This was years ago. He didn't listen to me. He didn't take into account anything about me, because they never take anything, because supposedly I'm the one that's a dumbass. And so it fucked up the floor and all this other shit. But then so did the fridge and the fucking washing machine and all this other shit. Nobody listens to me when I fucking speak. But you tell me how the fuck it is that I can't put it in an AC unit in a goddamn window with my fucking family, yet I can do it with my ex-boyfriend of many ass years ago and his fucking uncle. But mainly his fucking uncle, because he didn't even listen to me. And yes, this is my kid's father that was a piece of shit and did this. Okay? My parents actually went out and bought him an AC unit because he was living with his grandmother and they felt sorry for him being in that hot ass house. So my dad, out of kindness, was like, no, we can't have that old woman, and his family and all that, and everybody suffering, and you're over there, and you're visiting, and you're with him, and you're dating him, so we're gonna fucking help. So they bought one. Me and Adam trying to put it in the goddamn window. Adam's being a goddamn little peckerhead, just like my fucking dad, just like every fucking body I've ever known for the most part. Nobody ever fucking listens to me, or if they do, it's kids, or it's my kid. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Thank you, Jesus, my kid listens to me most of the time. And, I mean, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I give bad advice, but most of the time I give pretty good fucking advice. And, holy fucking shit, he had it in the fucking window crooked as a dog's hind leg too, and I'm like, that's not right. I'm like, you're not fucking listening to me. And I remember this argument so clear. And I was like, you're doing it wrong. Do you not see the lip on the bottom of it that is supposed to hold it into place? And he's like, no, that's not right. That's not right. And I'm like, it even shows here in the fucking directions. And I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Would you please fucking listen to me? And he's like, well, how many ACs have you put in a window before? And at that point in time, I'd only done one other. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you do it a first time or whatever. It matters if you know what the fuck you're doing, and I know what the fuck I'm doing. Would you fucking listen to me? And he wouldn't, and so I went back in the house, and I lifted up on it, and his uncle was outside, and his uncle's just, looking at me, and he's bitching, and he's, like, turning away from it, and I'm like, to his uncle, I'm like, can you just lift this up? Can you just help me for 5 fucking seconds, And he helped me. He helped me, his damn uncle. And as soon as he lifted it up, it snapped right into place. And it's sitting on the windowsill exactly like it's supposed to. So that way it's not hanging off crooked as a dog's hind leg. And I'm just like, see? Fucking told you. Told you. I'm not trying to be an asshole and be like, oh, look at me, I do everything right. I sure as fuck don't do everything right. But damn it, somebody needs to learn to fucking respect me and take my voice into fucking account when I'm goddamn talking. Because sometimes I do know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I gotta end it here. Hopefully I haven't lost it. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope I haven't lost this video. And I'll talk to you and catch you later. Bye.